How successful people think, the mindset for success. Have you ever wondered how successful people got there? How do they think? What goes on in their daily lives, and how do they organize and process their thoughts? Right? As somebody who has worked with successful people in all arenas, right? I used to work with scientists, clinical care professionals, and then later on in my career, I progressed and I worked with thought leaders in medicine, in academia, and then later on when I became a business owner, I worked with successful people in all arenas of marketing, entrepreneurship, and business growth, right? So what I want to be able to share with you in this video are the most common themes that I've seen when it comes to the mindset of successful people. And by the way, I'm revealing to you one of the frameworks that I teach to my clients in my executive coaching program to help them take their career to the next level. So if this is you, if you're listening to this and you want to take your career to the next level, you want to become a leader, to be recognized and to be the go-to person in your industry, and you want coaching and help to help you get there, then I invite you to book a call with me and my team below. Below this video is going to be a link, and it is an application for my executive coaching program. And this is where I'm going to share with you the steps on this framework, expand upon it, show you how you can apply it in your career path so that you can become a leader in your industry. So if that's you, just click the link below, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Right, so what I want to share with you in this video is just the 10,000-foot view when it comes to how successful people think. And the way I want to present it to you is in the ABCs, right? The ABCs of how successful people think. And if you think of an octave, right, in music, in musical notes, an octave, right, it goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then the octave goes right back to A in musical notes. So I'm going to share with you the musical notes of how people think, starting with A. Right? So A, action creates ability. When it comes to being successful in your domain, right? Successful people realize that at the moment, they may not be the person who is able to produce that success, and they're okay with it. But they realize that what the biggest thing that will produce that ability is to take action. Right, is you learn by doing it. Most people, the biggest mistake they make is they wait until they're ready. They wait until the stars align. They wait and they wait until they feel ready, until they feel like they've gathered all the knowledge before they begin. But it doesn't work that way. You don't get to learn. You don't get to grow your ability until you start taking action. Right? And so successful people realize that, and they have mentors alongside of them to share with them what are the challenges that they might be expecting, to help them educate their expectations, and mentors to help support them as they're taking actions to help troubleshoot, because they want to shortcut the process. Right? Chances are, before they became successful, they've never been successful before, so they don't have a mental model of what success looks like. And so when they work with mentors, they choose to work with mentors who have the success that they want to produce in their life. And as they're taking action, right, their mentors come in and give them feedback on what to focus on. Right? So that is the first step. A is action creates ability. Right? So the next thing is B, believability over dominance. Right? What does this mean? Believability is where you become the person who has credibility. Right? And I'm not just talking about degrees on your wall or numbers of years of experience or certifications under your belt. That's not what I'm talking about. The essence of what I mean when I say believability is, do you do what you say? Right? Do you do whatever it takes to fulfill on your promises? Right? Are you walking the walk and not just talking the talk? And so successful people focus on believability over dominance, right? Dominance is competition. Dominance is wanting to be over domineering somebody else. It's wanting to become on top of someone else. And that's not their main area of focus. Successful people focus on them. They want to become more believable. They want to become the person that people go to because they can trust in them. They want to be the person that when I shake your hand and I tell you I got this, that I'm good for my word, right? So B is believability over dominance. What is C? The next one is C. C is communication creates leverage. And this is when successful people realize the importance of effective communication. It's not just about wanting to be able to talk over somebody or to be better at someone when it comes to expressing my ideas or talking faster than somebody. That's not what effective communication means. Effective communication is being able to lead effectively. It's being able to have clarity over thought and therefore clarity over speech. It's about having the smoothness, the fluency to be able to express complex thoughts in a way that your audience can understand. It's about being able to capture your audience's attention and create desire in them so that they're motivated to take action. They're inspired to do what's necessary. And so successful people understand that communication creates leverage. When you are a great communicator, right, this is where you can leverage your knowledge. This is where you can leverage collaborations. This is where you can leverage your vision of the future that you want to create. You see, the vision begins in your mind. It begins like an imagination. You have a vision of a future you want to create. And the only bridge between your mind and the physical reality that we experience are words. Right? So successful people recognize that communication skill is paramount to creating the leverage that they want to create so that they can create the success, they can manifest the success that they desire, right? And so once again, if you recognize, if what I'm sharing with you and you resonate with it, and you want to increase your communication, you want to develop and master that skill set, right? Again, once again, I invite you to book a call with me. The link is below this video, and that is where I'll take you through the steps to master your communication skills, to show you how to become a successful leader in your industry. Right, so that is C, communication creates leverage. The next octave, the next note, the next musical note is D. So what's D? D is demonstrate, don't tell. Right? So most people make the mistake of making these statements, right? That I have 10 years of experience. I have a PhD. I have done this. I worked with this company, right? I have achieved this level of greatness, right? But when you tell, just because you said it doesn't mean they agree with it. And just because you said it doesn't mean they heard you. And just because you said it doesn't mean that they understand what you have told them. So don't tell, because telling is just telling facts and making statements. And that is really a unilateral conversation. It's a one-directional conversation. What you want to do instead is demonstrate, right? Another word for demonstrate is to illustrate, right? And the way you can illustrate is through what you say and how you say it, right? The stories that you tell them, how you handle their objections that they might have as a result of what you share, what you demonstrate. So demonstrate, don't tell, because it is always stronger to show them what you can do than just simply to tell them what you can do, right? So D is demonstrate, don't tell. So next musical note is F. What is F? Or sorry, the next musical note is E. D-E, right? The next musical note is E. What is E? Environment creates enthusiasm. Most of the time in the college education system and maybe in society and our parents, right? The structure of society programs us since we were young kids to believe that discipline is really important, right? To have great discipline, to be able to resist temptations, to be able to do our work, just put our head down, concentrate and get work done. That is sheer discipline. But here's the thing about discipline. Discipline relies on your willpower, and willpower is weak. Have you ever noticed that sometimes, right, well-intentioned, you know what needs to be done, you know what's necessary, but sometimes it's just hard to follow through with completion, especially when things get challenging, especially when there are naysayers, or especially when there is something else that is more appealing. So when you try to be disciplined and rely on your willpower, willpower is never going to be as strong as your environment. Your environment, right, creates the breeding grounds for your success. 80% of your success depends on your environment. And so what does your environment mean? It means your immediate surroundings, but most importantly, it is who you surround yourself with. So your environment has the potential to create enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is an ingredient to be able to persist and consist. And you need both persistency and consistency, because persistency is there when the going gets tough. And consistency is there when the journey is long to get to where you want to be, right? So environment creates enthusiasm. The next octave, the next musical note is F. What is F? Focus creates feeling. But here's the thing about focus. Whether or not you realize it, you're going to be focusing on something. You're either going to be focusing on something that serves you, or you're focusing on something that does not serve you. And most of the time, the thing that you're focusing on, whether it helps you or does not help you, most of the time we don't realize it. It is literally a subconscious thing. What we focus on could be a very subconscious thing, and we don't realize is not helping. But what we do realize is the outcome that we're not satisfied with. Right? We realize all of the peripheral things and the symptoms of what our focus creates, but we don't realize that what we've been focusing on is not helping. And oftentimes when we focus on something, it is a default pattern. We just naturally focus on it because that's what our natural inclinations have caused us to focus on. It's just what we're used to. It just becomes what we do. And so therefore, it is subconscious. But here's the thing about focus. It creates our feelings. What we focus on could give us anxiety, or what we focus on could give us joyful anticipation. Which would you rather have? Would you rather feel anxiety? And when you feel anxiety, this is what is the killer of all dreams. When you have anxiety, this is what creates paralysis, where we want to delay things, we want to procrastinate. When we have anxiety, this is where we dread certain things moving forward because the anxiety is very paralyzing. Versus if your focus creates the feeling of joyful anticipation. Anticipation is what happens on Christmas morning. On Christmas morning, right? You have Christmas Eve, you're waking up on Christmas morning, you're anticipating Christmas morning, the feeling of having gifts to open, the feeling of being surrounded by loved ones, and it creates so much energy. So your focus creates feelings. It also contributes to the level of energy as a result of your feelings. And it also contributes to your ability to take action in that moment, especially when it is tough. So focus creates feelings. What's the next musical note? After F, it is G. G means grounded in principles. So what are principles? Principles are the laws that govern why things work. Right? You have tactics, you have strategies, and you have principles. Most of the time when we have a problem in our career or in our life, we think we need the tactics. But we always want to go straight to, what do I do? What do I do? Those are tactics. Tactics are like send the email. They're like send in the job application. They're like, this is what you say. This is exactly what you do. Those are tactics. But the problem with tactics is that the tactics do not always work. It depends on the time and situation. Tactics alone do not create transformation because you cannot take one tactic and know what to do in every single situation. Tactics don't represent the diversity of situations or events that could come up in your career. And so most people believe they need tactics, but that's when it falls short. What you need are principles, and principles are the laws that govern why strategies and tactics work. Let me give you an example. One of the principles when it comes to building momentum in your life, one of the principles is that momentum depends on your velocity, right? And this is a physics principle. Physics says that momentum, M, is equal to mass times velocity. M, capital M is momentum, times small m, V, M equals mv, mass times velocity equals momentum. So what does this tell you? It tells you that momentum is directly proportional to your velocity. How fast are you going? How fast are you taking action? How fast are you learning from your mistakes? How fast are you growing and developing yourself and your skill sets? Well, momentum is directly proportional to that. So the faster you learn, the faster you develop and master these skills, including communication, including honing your environment, including understanding principles that you're going to ground your actions in, the faster you do that, the faster you produce the success that you desire. And that is a principle, an operational principle. So your principles will guide your actions. And when you allow yourself to operate on a principles-based level, this is where you will know what to do in any situation. Because the law of momentum, for example, applies no matter what arena of life we're talking about. It could be you want momentum in your relationships. It could be you want momentum in your career. Maybe you want momentum in your intelligence, your learning capabilities, or momentum in your fitness to be able to be fit at a faster momentum. Then that principle, as you can see, applies no matter what. So when you are grounded in principles, you're going to be well equipped to be able to handle a multitude of situations that come your way when it comes to developing your career and when it comes to developing your skill sets. So there you have it, the octave to how successful people think. From A to G, right? And again, as an octave, it goes right back to A. An octave returns right back to A. And what's A? Action creates ability. So there you have it. Now I want to hear from you of this octave of how successful people think. Which one resonates with you the most? I want to hear from you. So comment below and share with me which one of these octaves, musical notes, resonates with you in terms of how successful people think, and which one are you needing to focus on first? Which is your top priority? In other words, where have you been feeling this gap in terms of your focus in your life right now? I want to hear from you, right? And remember, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up if it resonates with you especially, but remember also to subscribe to my channel. Ring that bell below so that you can be notified every time I release a new video. I look forward to hanging out with you again soon.